I just got confirmation from Corey of the B-Movie Bros that he saw Superintendent Timothy Glasspool guzzling down Pepsi after Pepsi right outside the Plum High School out there. So the rumors just keep coming in. I don't know how trustworthy Corey is, but actually he's a pretty good guy, and I made that up. But I would not be surprised at all if Timothy Glasspool was a Pepsi drinker. Right now, a man who swears by Coke. We have Mr. Krish Mohan over the phone on the River's
Hello.
Edge. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Are you a Coke drinker or are you a Pepsi drinker?
I am. I'm a root beer man myself.
Oh, an
I'm not a
A&W.
big Coke or Pepsi guy. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you don't drink Pepsi.
No, I don't.
Would
If I have the option, I will go with Pepsi. It's a little bit sweeter than Coke,
True.
so I like the sweeter taste.
Would the addition to emojis on the Pepsi bottle sway your opinion of Pepsi either way?
Oh, they're putting emojis on Pepsi bottles.
Yeah, if you saw a Pepsi bottle that was like giving that stupid crying laughing face that Oxford just made a word on the side of the bottle, would that like deter you from drinking, or would that encourage you to drink?
I would not pick up no, it would definitely discourage me from drinking.
That's what we like to hear. That's what we like to hear. We're swearing by Coke right now because of this whole Pepsi emoji controversy that is taking the nation by storm.
Yeah, the whole emoji thing is just so bizarre to me. I feel like we're kind of going backwards.
It's like hieroglyphics.
Speech.
Yeah,
It's like hieroglyphics. Yeah. I've been saying that for like 2 years, and people are like, "Oh, you're no fun." And I was like, "No, that's what we're doing. We're going back to like not using words."
It's terrible. And people, they ask me, "Why don't you use it?" I say, "I'm not a middle school girl. I use words, English,
or
language."
A third-century Egyptian.
Yes, right.
In a technological age where we barely talk to people face to face, now we are not even using words.
Yeah,
in conversation.
It's terrible.
Right.
And it's really sad that now I've said it for years now, and it's been reaffirmed that Webster is the superior dictionary to Oxford. Oxford has always been placed on this pedestal. Well, just last year they made an emoji a word. The year before they made some other hogwash word.
Pretty sure selfie was the word they did.
Maybe,
yeah. I was gonna say.
So they just keep lowering the standards.
Oh, it's so depressing.
It is. So, Krish, tell us about yourself. I see you have a very interesting past.
Yeah. I'm a full-time stand-up. I'm a touring stand-up comedian. I actually started in Pittsburgh. I live in DC now, and so this weekend I'm getting ready to record my third hour of comedy. So I started in high school, basically on a whim to do this talent show, and I had friends in bands that were telling me to do it. So I wrote like 8 jokes on note cards, and I got in, but I got in as like as an asterisk basically, where I couldn't compete in the talent show because there was no one else doing comedy at the time. So it was basically like you were going to go up in between bands and be the filler, and it went pretty great. The last 5-minute set that I did was basically me doing the Indian accent, which I don't do anymore.
Yeah,
but like for 15-year-olds, that was like
sure, yeah.
It's probably the only standing ovation I've ever received in 11 years of doing comedy. So, which is great. And then after that, I wanted to keep doing it. So, I would have my mom drive me to this coffee shop every Friday to do this open mic.
Okay.
So for
in
like
Pittsburgh?
musicians. Oh yeah. It was in the South Hills.
What coffee shop was it? Is it still around?
I was gonna say I live in the South Hills.
It's not. It was called the Coffee Den, and it was. My friend Derek Tristek used to tell me to come to it. So I started going every Friday, and it would like start, at like 7 and end at 10. So I would still have time to like go back and hang out with friends afterwards. But like that was a thing that I wanted to do every Friday. So I would literally go, I would have my mom drive me there. She would sit through, like 4 poets, 10 musicians, me making fun of her for 10 to 12 minutes every Friday on stage, and then having a very quiet drive back to the house. Yeah, so I mean, after that, I just kept doing it as much as I could. And once I graduated college, it was I wanted to try to figure out how to pursue it full time. And I got into the scene. I met some people. I figured out, working the road is something that I wanted to do a whole lot. So I kind of focused my efforts on that for the last like 4 years or so.
Mm-hmm. In your comedy too, you've kind of taken a unique approach in a way where you do talk a lot about religion and politics and things like that, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
You're not allowed to talk about that, though, I didn't think.
What's that?
So I didn't think you were allowed to talk about religion and politics. I thought that was a no-no.
I disagree with that statement. I think if you don't talk about it, the problems with the problems that we're facing just keep persisting, right? So if you want to find a solution to it, you have to be comfortable enough to talk about it. Nothing gets solved because you turn a blind eye to anything. That's my philosophy anyway. So yeah, I mean, it becomes a little bit of it can be a little bit of a problem from time to time, but I know there's like some of the stuff is like bigger ideas, like like bringing up the concept of reincarnation. That's kind of a big obscure idea, and the tough challenge for me working on the material over the last like 2 years was basically how do I bring it down to a more palatable level so it doesn't sound just like I'm talking philosophy for the sake of talking philosophy,
Sure.
And I try to have a point. There is a point to everything I'm doing on stage. So it's all like, let's take these big ideas and try to make them more palatable so that everybody can be on board. And yeah, I know you're not. That's.
I'll be honest.
You don't bring up. Yeah,
I love it because I'm of the same water where I always talk about those issues, and I think, like you said, you have to talk about them, and we have to live in a world where you can talk about this stuff without getting upset, and it's okay that somebody doesn't agree with you. And I mean, I talk about it at work. I know that's like a big no-no, but I talk about it there too. I talk about it everywhere. And I remember back in the days I worked at a rent-to-own company, and I at the time was very, I mean, I still have a faith, but I was very committed to my faith back then, and the store manager that I had at the time was an atheist, openly an atheist, and we would have conversations. Sometimes we'd sit there, and maybe this wasn't the best thing because we were on the clock, but we would sit there for, sometimes a half an hour to an hour just, bullshitting about the 10 Commandments or this or that, and it was a wonderful conversation because neither of us were, angry at the end, or we didn't have hurt feelings. We were able to have a discussion, an intellectual discussion, and sometimes we agreed, sometimes we didn't agree, but we were both reasonable people.
Yeah, I think it's just about understanding a different perspective. And I think that's I'm not at this point, I'm not in the mood to argue with somebody, although that's what some people want. Some people want the argument. I'm here to have a conversation about it, and that's part of the stuff that I like doing on stage. Is I want to start a conversation about this because here's the thing, there's a lot that I don't know, and if I bring something up and I'm wrong, I'm willing to accept that I'm wrong and hear you out, and you might be wrong, like to me you might be wrong, and that might bring a different perspective, and that just makes the comedy better. If I can bring in an interesting perspective into it, to me, that makes it better. So that was the other thing, is like, I do talk about being an agnostic on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things, and this is something I do believe, is I don't believe that religion is bad.
Sure.
But a lot of people disagree with me. I think religion. We need religions as human beings. I think we need religions, but what we've done with religions, that's the problem.
Yes.
Like what we do with this really good idea and manipulate and warp it to and politicize it. That's the problem, in my opinion. I don't think it's the idea itself. The idea itself was to make sure all religions boil down to the golden rule: do unto others as you would
Sure.
want them to do to you. So that's not that bad,
And people have this mindset, if there's one thing that we live in, that give or take all world where it's all or nothing, and
Right.
people don't understand that you can look at things and still learn from the lesson or learn from the story. There's still good things to take out of everything, really. Even
Right.
if you don't believe in it, or even if you disagree with it, there's still something to be gained.
That's what I like about religions, though. Yeah, I mean, the stories they're wild. They're crazy. Like, it's funny is we will pour money into comic book movies.
Mm-hmm.
We have such a major problem with the stories in religion, right? But they're the same. Like, conceptually, they're the same. You have a guy that can, cling to walls, but and you're like, this is fine, this is great, this is good science fiction. But then you're like, a person that split the oceans apart. It's like, whoa, let's not go crazy here.
Yeah.
It's like, why is the comic book end of things okay, but the religious end of things is like, let that be a story. Comic books give you a good lesson at the end of it.
Usually.
And so does religion.
Except for Deadpool.
Usually.
I don't think Deadpool has any good moral backing to it.
No, I think Deadpool is more along the lines of love you for you.
Yes.
Well put. Very well put.
I'm excited. The show. What time does the show start? I see it's 8:30.
The show's actually going to start at 9.
Okay.
We had to push the time back a little bit because there's another show that's starting earlier in the evening, and that might run a little long. So they just wanted to. Jeff at Hambones is wonderful.
Yeah,
and,
good guy.
He just wanted to make sure, we had enough time to turn the room over and set up and get everybody into their seats comfortably. So so we pushed the show back to 9 p.m. on Saturday at Hambones.
Will anyone be opening for you?
Yes, 2 of my best friends in comedy, Garrett Teitelbaum is hosting.
Okay, yeah, I
and
met him. Mm-hmm.
Derek Minto is featuring.
Okay, great.
Derek runs the weekly open mic on Thursdays at Hambones,
Mm-hmm.
and Garrett's podcast just launched called "It's Nice to See He's Working."
Mm-hmm.
So I love the title.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I met him the other day, actually, at Black Forge Coffee. I don't know if you know Ian Insect.
I do. They're very good friends of mine. Yeah.
Yes, Ian's a good guy, a friend of mine as well. And
Ian's wonderful.
Yeah, great guy, and he does an open mic event at Black Forge Coffee weekly when he can, and I happened to go out to that one, and I met Garrett there. But really good guy, good comedian too, very funny.
Oh, great! He's great. He's one. Yeah. I love Garrett. Garrett's got a really fun, silly sensibility on stage, but it's still like it's still smart stuff, I think.
Yes. Why Hambones?
Yeah, I lived with Garrett.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. He was my last roommate in Pittsburgh.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Why Hambones? Is it a connection that you have with Jeff, or is there any type of story to why you chose that venue, especially coming up from down in Baltimore area?
Well, so Hambones is my favorite venue in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of what Jeff does with it. I was there when the open mic started.
Okay.
The first week that Derek moved it to Hambones, or I should say Jeff asked Derek to move it to Hambones because, and how kind of Jeff is so supportive of the music and comedy community, and the venue itself has a great, like, it's a warm feel to it. It seats a lot of people, but if you get maybe 30 people in that room, that's a full room.
Yes.
And it just has like a nice warm vibe to it. And I've always loved going to Hambones. So in Pittsburgh, that was like my home away from home, basically. Like when I would go on the road and come back, I would always make sure that I wanted to come back to Hambones.
Yeah.
One way, shape, or form. Like I wanted to make sure that was the spot that I hit when I came back to Pittsburgh. So yeah. It's a part of it has to do with Jeff. Part of it has to do with the fact that I was there, 2-3 times out of the week, and I made some of my best friends there, with Derek and Garrett, and just a laundry list of great Pittsburgh comedians. So yeah, it kind of has a personal connection to me, and the venue is just a great venue for live entertainment.
I know people usually don't ask you this question in an interview, and you may not know the answer, but who's running sound for you? Do you know?
I'm sorry?
Do you know who will be running sound that night?
It might be Jeremy Kaywood.
Jeremy Kaywood, I was wondering. Yeah, he does most of the sound work down there.
Yeah,
so.
He does a lot of the sound stuff down there, and I think the last show that I did, he kind of came in to set up everything.
Okay.
And
cool.
And then he had to go to another gig, but it might be Jeremy. Jeremy and I are good friends as well, so hopefully he is running sound, which will be kind of cool. It'll be cool to see him as well. Yeah.
He's a big friend of us here at the River's Edge. He's on our network as well. I'm really looking forward to it. I am hoping. Will you be on? Do you know if you'll be on by 10?
Probably.
Okay,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I work an overnight job that starts at 11, so I'm hoping I'll be able to at least catch some of the set before I have to tail off and hit the old
great.
time
Yeah,
clock, so.
Please. Let me know if you can make it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it.
I'll put you on the list on it. So, yeah, absolutely.
I'd love to come check it out.
It's definitely like my style of humor, I think. I like that. I like that more intelligent type of humor, if that makes sense. I don't like I'm not a zany person. There's nothing wrong with it, but like the Three Stooges just doesn't do it for me. It's just not my style of humor. So I'm really excited to see this and see your set. So.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
It'd be good if you have any questions. You can hit up Krish. His Twitter handle is @Krish Mohan. Haha, that's KRISHMOHANHAHA. You can hit me up at RiverTalkPGH, and that's going to be Hambones, and it's going to be the 28th at 9 p.m. I am looking forward to it.
Likewise.
All right,
Thank you so much, Brian.
Absolutely. That's Krish Mohan. I'm Brian Crawford. And in 30 seconds, we wrap up the show on the River's Edge Radio Network.